How's it going, guys? Dom here with Dom's Vlogs. So, let's talk about Terminator Dark Fate. No, really, let's talk about it. Because even though it's not out yet, why would I want to talk about it? Well, let's start for the fact that this is actually during the time where this was after Judgment Day. So it's focusing only on the first two Terminator movies and ignoring Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and also Genesis. It's ignoring those three movies at the same time, and it's focusing on just the first Terminator and Judgment Day. So what do I expect from Terminator Dark Fate? Well, I'm expecting a lot of things, but I want to expect to actually have the most important things that I want to have around, besides the guns and the explosions. First off, let's talk about the Terminator that's actually going to be getting Sarah Connor. Like, the actual evil Terminator that we've seen in the trailer. I actually want him to at least have weaknesses. Now, despite him being two different Terminators for the price of one, this is going to be a tough challenge because it's kind of almost mimicking Genesis. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's the skinny. Terminator Genesis had the two Terminators, the T-800 and also the T-1000. A liquid metal Terminator and also one that actually has human-like skin, but also has an endoskeleton Terminator with I think a alloy chassis. So Terminator Dark Fate has those two Terminators, except they're molded together into something like that. It's kind of like combining the T-800 with the T-1000 with the TX, despite, just taking away some of the TX's functions, but having that liquid poly alloy in there. That's kind of like combining that at the same time, except if you want to ignore the TX, then we'll just say T-1000 and the T-800. And that's kind of like what it is, because you're fighting two Terminators. Thirdly, I also like to see if actually does Sarah Connor live, or does she die? I know in Rise of the Machines she does die of leukemia, so it could be expected that this was her last ever chance of fighting, which is honestly something. But I wanted to see it be like a big fight, kind of like Laurie Strode facing Michael Myers in Halloween 2017. I'd like to see her at least battle so well. We've already saw her battle pretty well in the trailer, and goddamn, she looks pretty awesome. I mean, this literally shows that this was like a few years after she got out of that mental institution. And it's crazy to see. One thing interesting, too, is that I like to see Arnold at least in his old type of state. And that's kind of like what I'm expecting it to be. I'm expecting Arnold to at least come back in that old, like, skin, but still as the T-800. Still kicking ass and still using the guns. But I also like to see him kind of like an old man in his old ways, kind of like, I like to see him with the leather jacket, the glasses and stuff. I like to see that type part for that Terminator. Although I do like to see, although Arnold is old, I still like to see him in that, because he was pretty good in the first and second movie when he looked like that, especially the third movie. The third movie, he looks pretty nice, and it was kind of funny. But what else am I thinking of? What kind of story should I put for James Cameron, even though the storyline has already been fixed out? Well, let me go for this, even if James Cameron can even listen to me on the tubes, because I am a big fan of his first two movies, especially his third one. But the other two, I'm kind of having mixed feelings about the last two, which is Salvation and Genesis. But let's go even more clear. So storyline-wise, let's just say that was a T-900, and I'm expecting it to be a T-900. Why? It's part Terminator, part human, so you'd expect it to be the T-900 from the canceled two-seasoned Terminator series. But also I want some other stuff too, like not much of the fight scene-wise, but I also like to see how secretive this other Terminator can be. For starters, I mean, it's got a liquid polyalloy, so it can change into different types of stuff. So at least be two different people. And not only that, it should carry at least a firearm like Robert Patrick did in the Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Not only that, if it's going to carry a firearm or if it's going to have a house full of firearms, it needs to at least go to a gun store. Yes, in 2019, where there's a lot of strict gun laws. Let's just roll with it. On top of that, we like to see what not James Cameron, but not Laurie Strode either, but Sarah Connor is. Like, Sarah has to at least, let's say, in a wilderness, in like, I think a secured house or cabin that has like just an arsenal of firearms. I mean, we remember in Mexico, she has a lot of cool firearms and quite a few AKs, which were pretty interesting. She was prepared in Terminator 2. Not only that, we have to see John Connor. We've already seen Sarah Connor. We should see John Connor in this one. We should see John Connor, and not only that, we like to at least know more of the storyline behind it. Ending-wise, I mean, Arnold again has to die along with the evil Terminator. But what about that other Terminator, which was the T-900? Should she live? Should she die? I put that up to James Cameron because this is his movie. And since it's called The Dark Fate, it should have something dark in it. Not dark lights. No. We've already established we don't like lights turned off because it's hard to see even with the naked eye in the darkness. So I expect a lot on James Cameron's part, but let's be even more clear as that there's 3 Terminators, maybe 4 if you count the liquid version. That's 4 Terminators in one movie. Genesis had 3. And Rise of the Machines and I think Judgment Day had 2. And in the first one we just had 1. So this is more Terminators than meets the eye. They have to put good storylines, good ways that they became more secretive, and more ways of how they're going to get Skynet. And if this is the time where they're actually going to destroy Skynet, then that's going to be surprising because this could be the last Terminator movie that Arnold is ever going to be in. And that's surprising too because I actually am expecting a lot from this movie. Because I'm also expecting a lot with Last Blood, Rambo. Because it's actually bringing back a good character that was in the first Rocky movie. So, well, first couple of Rocky movies. So I'm basically expecting a lot from both Dark Fate and also Last Blood from Rambo. This is what I'm expecting. There are some movies that I really do want to see. Trust me, there were some movies I didn't want to see, like the Lion King reboot, or It Part 2, or It Chapter 2, or even Maleficent, The Mistress of Darkness. I never wanted to look at those. I would rather stick to Toy Story 4, Terminator, Dark Fate, and also Rambo Last Blood. I never seen the other Rambo movies. So it's going to be clear that I need to see the Rambo movies. I mean, that's if I'm going to get interested in Rambo. But we're just going to have to wait and see because I'm focusing way too much on Dark Fate. So Dark Fate, I just really do expect a lot from this movie. I really do expect a lot from this movie, and it looks like it shows. And it's nice to see Sarah O'Connor back. I mean, she's the badass woman of the 80s, especially the 90s. She's at least in the first movie was a damsel in distress, but she wasn't much as a damsel in distress. She at least did something out of all that type of scaredness she had. She at least run. She at least called the cops. She at least, I don't know, made stuff, shoot stuff. At least said one badass line in the end of the first movie. On top of that, too, when she was in the mental institution, she at least got stronger, knew how to use firearms more, and let's be honest, becoming one of the badass women of all time. She's one of the best badass women of all time. I mean, she's got strength. I'm impressed. So in this one, I expect a lot from her too. So we don't know yet, but we're going to see once it comes out. I know people are like, oh, these Terminator movies stink, but if it's going back to that state of the first 2 movies, then I'm expecting a lot. Like, really a lot. And if there's even production problems, you're going to have to postpone the movie to another date or month. You can't just put it out already. Yes, we're expecting it on that date. You couldn't just said on a Comic-Con or Twitter or anything. We got social media. You could say it right there. You know, like a big apology, like sorry, we're going to have to take this to another month because of production problems. It could have been more interesting that way. We could have at least waited. It'd be good wait, you know. So I'm expecting a lot. I really am. So let's just hope we get a good Terminator movie for 2019, because we all know nobody liked Genesis, even though I had a soft spot for the movie, and I still can't find a way to fucking download it. Salvation, I did kind of had high hopes from when I looked at it, but it really didn't hit home for me. Third movie I have, and it's fun to watch. Second movie is good and fun to watch. I still like that. And the first movie I have on Netflix, and also I downloaded. Just in case I don't have Netflix anymore, I still have the first movie downloaded for me. And it's fun to see. All three movies that I have are fun to see, and Genesis is fun to see as well when I got the chance to find it online. So, whatever the case may be, we just gotta have our hopes up that this is going to be a good movie. And I'm expecting it to be a good movie. I am expecting it to be about the same part of Rotten Tomatoes as the first and second movie. Reason being is because they're supposed to take place after Judgment Day. So ignoring Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and Genesis. So I'm expecting a lot from this movie, and I hope you are too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, well, I hope you have a nice week, and let me shut up and let's go to this random stranger that I know who it is. Comic. Hey guys, Dominic here. I'm sorry that I didn't make a video Monday. I had things to do in the house, so I didn't have enough time to make a video on Monday, and also I was just getting a little too intense for Super Showdown, so I'm in prep because I really do want to see Goldberg versus The Undertaker. It's such a good fun one. So I'm promising you that I am going to be doing a live stream Friday, and it's going to be transit, the bus challenge. So the challenge goes, I have to take the bus to travel to the different areas. I can't go in the fog. I can't go for the denizens, so it's going to be a pain in the butt for me to get jet gun pieces, because there are a couple. There's two in Knocked, and there's one in the cabin, and those are in the fog. At least with the tunnel, I can get that part easy. With the other parts, it could be a snap, but the two other parts that I need for that jet gun, that at least got me to round 30 in the first place, is going to be a pain in the butt. I'm telling you, pain in the butt. So I hope you guys are going to be enjoying that live stream, because I am totally going to be stressing out on how much I hate that bus and how much I hate Ted, because Ted is a pain in my ass. But if you want me to do another punishment, just tell me in the comments below. If you want me to do a second challenge with that challenge together, like 2 challenges in one live stream, put that in the comments below if you want me to, because I do deserve it. I mean, I expected to give you guys something for Monday, and I didn't, so I'm sorry. So yeah, I hope you guys are going to enjoy this live stream, and it'll be a good fun. I hope to see you there. Bye.